Hello everyone, I'm Seungha WOO, Korean attorney at law firm S.O.S Law Firm. We talked about the rehabilitation system in Korea last time. Today we will talk about the bankruptcy system in Korea. As I told you last time, I'm the trustee in bankruptcy, 파산관제인 in Korean. So I have quite many experience about the bankruptcy. With the individual rehabilitations, you have to pay a certain amount of money to the creditor every month within 3 years. But if your secure debt is more than 1 billion won or your unsecured debt is more than 500 million won or you don't have any steady income, then you cannot apply for individual rehabilitations. Your only option is the bankruptcy, 파산 in Korean. When an individual debtor becomes unable to pay all of their debts with their property as a result of running their business or consumption, they can file the application for individual bankruptcy to settle the debts. First, you have to file petition for bankruptcy. Every petition for bankruptcy shall be filed in a written statement containing matters falling under each of the following. Number 1, the names and domiciles of the applicant and his legal representative. Number 2, where the debtor is an individual, his her name, resident, registration number, and domicile. Number 3, where the debtor is not an individual, the trading name, the location of the principal office or the place of the business of the debtor, and the name of the representative. Number 4, the purpose of the petitions. Number 5, the ground for the petitions. 6, the purpose of the debtor's business and his/her current business. 7, the total number of shares of equity shares that are issued by the debtor, the amount of his or her capital, and the current states of his/her asset, his/her obligation and properties. Number 8, other procedures for or any depositions on the debtor's property of which the applicant is aware. Number 9, when any creditors files a petition for bankruptcy, the amount of and the ground for the claim that is held by him or her. Number 10, when any shareholders or any equity rights holders file a petition for bankruptcy, the number and the amount of the shares or equity shares that are held by him or her, and the written statements shall be accompanied by documents falling under each of the following. Number 1, the list of the creditors. Number 2, the properties list. Number 3, the list concerning the revenue and expenditure of the debtor. Number 4, other documents that are prescribed by the rules of the Supreme Court. If it is impossible to include the documents at the time that the written statement is filed, you have to provide the reasons and you have to submit the relevant documents without delay. People usually file the application for the individual bankruptcy and immunity at the same time. Immunity, 면책 in Korean, means you're immune from liability. Simply, you don't have to pay back the money you borrowed. The debtor who has been granted immunity shall be exempted from the liabilities for her or his or debtors to bankruptcy creditors, except for the dividends according to the bankruptcy procedures. The followings are not be exempted from liabilities. 1. Taxes. 2. Fines, minor fines, criminal litigations costs, additional collection charges, and administrative fines. 3. Compensation for damages caused by any illegal act which the debtor commits intentionally. 4. Compensation for damages caused by any illegal act of the debtor of by gross negligence inflicting harms on the life and the body of any other person. 5. The wages, severance, allowances, and compensation for disaster of the debtor's employees. 6. The debtor's employees' bailment monies and fidelity granted monies. 7. Claims which a debtor has maliciously omitted from the list of the creditor, provided that the same shall not apply to the creditor of the claims, who is aware of the fact that the debtor has been declared bankrupt. 8. Expenses that the debtor is to pay as a foster or a person under obligation to support. 9. Principal and the interest of the student loan to be reimbursed after their employment under the Special Act on Income Contingent Loan, and after you are declared bankrupt, then 파산관제인 will examine about your documents for bankruptcy and immunity. If you don't have any property, it will end fast. But if you have some properties, then it will be reimbursed to the creditor equally in the process of bankruptcy. You have to listen to 파산관제인's word. He or she is a person who can help you for your bankruptcy and immunity. But you have to fulfill some conditions for immunity. The court shall grant immunity except in the events falling under any of the followings. 1. When it is recognized that an act falling under the offense of the fraudulent bankruptcy, offense of negligent bankruptcy, offense of non-compliance with the order for arrest, offense of bankruptcy bribery, or offense of violation of duty to give explanations is purported by the debtor. 2. When the debtor, notwithstanding the fact that the cause of his/her bankruptcy exists, acquires any properties through credit transaction by deceit or concealment of the fact within 1 year before he or she is declared bankrupt, in order to mislead other person into believing that no such cause exists. 3. When the debtor submits a falsified list of the creditor and other falsified application documents to the court, or falsely states the current holding of his/her properties to the court. 4. When 7 years have yet to lapse for the debtor from the date on which a decision to grant him or her immunity becomes final and conclusive, while he or she receives immunity in the process of the bankruptcy, before he or she files an application for the immunity, or when 5 years have yet to lapse for the debtor from the date on which a decision to grant him or her immunity becomes final and conclusive, while he or she receives immunity in the process of rehabilitation. 5. When the debtor violates his or her duties prescribed by Debtor Rehabilitation and Bankruptcy Act. 6. When the debtor's excessive squandering of money, gambling, or speculations result in the significant loss in value to his or her properties or massive indebtedness. And if you finish all the process without any problem, then you can be granted immunity finally. I will say it again, then it's over. Congratulations, your debts are all gone. If you have further questions, please contact us. Our contact is as below. If our video is helpful, please click like, subscribe, alarm button. Thank you for watching our video.